What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another video. This video is going to be focusing on Manchester United and what we've learned about Ralf Rangnick, their new manager, so far in the few games he's been in charge of. And before we get into the tactics behind the Man U Norwich match, be sure to check out both my books. They're online on Amazon and there's links in the description below. Also, be sure to check out Keyframe. It's how I made this video. Now, let's get right into the tactics. So, Manchester United have gone with a 4-2-2-2 in this Ralf Rangnick era and the start of his managerial role at Manchester United. So with the two holding midfielders of Fred and McTominay, we are followed suit by a back four using the full width of the field and spanning into the widest part of the wide areas. We'll also see more from Manchester United using minimum width, meaning the weak side fullback will then invert or just play in a more narrow position to then shorten passing connections and then decrease the time it takes them to transition defensively when they do lose possession of the ball. But in this situation, we also have our double pivot moving into the half space to then free our fullbacks to then go higher up the field. This is crucial for Manchester United in this setup because the fullbacks create the full width. With our two holding midfielders, we have in the midfield as well our two wide midfielders playing more as attacking midfielders through the half space. And here we have Jadon Sancho and Bruno Fernandes playing through the half space, creating a four-man midfield and creating numerical superiority against a five-man Norwich midfield. So as we see here, the Norwich midfielders against the midfield of Manchester United, and really the wide midfielders of Norwich are so oriented towards the fullbacks of Manchester United, we wouldn't really consider them active defenders against the midfield four of Manchester United because these players are very much responsible for pressing in the wider areas. Now, as we see again, a common pattern of play is the holding midfielder dropping deeper into the half space, creating a back three and a diamond in their build-up phase to then create diagonal passing options into the lone holding midfielder. This also creates now a midfield three higher up the field. Instead of a midfield box, we now have a three-man midfield, and we start to see the wide players or the fullbacks advancing higher up the field because of the back three. Now, a crucial part of Manchester United's build-up will be getting these players on the ball and facing forward. So how they do this is through Cristiano Ronaldo and then now Marcus Rashford in this game, pinning the back four of Norwich, allowing these players to then not have to worry about evading any defenders jumping from the Norwich team. So a jumping defender would then be eliminated because of the pinning of Manchester United. This would then leave the midfielders responsible for jumping to the holding midfielder and trying to block off any passes between the line while spanning across the full width of the field. Now on the opposite side, we have Fred dropping into the left half space, but playing a bit higher and more in line with the holding midfield position. And this picture really shows the pinning and the partnerships that we have in the advanced areas for Norwich to try and defend against, and Manchester United using runs in behind from players like Marcus Rashford to then push the back four into a deeper area, and by running between the central defender and the fullback, it makes the fullback's positioning more restricted and less likely to jump into these advanced positions. Also, we have the right fullback on this strong side having more freedom to advance because of the back three, or the two holding midfielders giving the team security, allowing the fullback to advance higher up the field to then allow for the player connecting to have more freedom because of the runs higher up the field from the fullback, pinning the Norwich fullback into a deeper position, and the run from Marcus Rashford, pinning and going the blind spot of this fullback, allowing then the player between the lines to become free. Out of possession, we start to see the 4-2-2-2 for Manchester United, and now in this match, it was a little bit different because of the principles and the structure that Norwich used in possession. So Norwich, they also created full width using their fullbacks and a midfield three. What this meant is it meant that Manchester United would have to stagger their two forwards to then occupy the holding midfielder and cut off circulation. What it would also do is it would force the fullbacks on Norwich to go higher up the field, because that was one of the tendencies. And by Norwich playing with very narrow front three, the fullbacks had the job of creating full width down here at the bottom of our screen and at the top of our screen. Now in the deeper position, we then see this affecting the wide midfielders, or the two more advanced midfielders of Manchester United, and forcing them to play into a deeper role. So this flattened Manchester United's midfield line, made it easier for Norwich to attempt to progress against, and took away some of their staggering within their midfield. Now finally, in their defensive phase, we can see there are two forwards, but now their midfield is crucial because of the staggering we see that Manchester United have been lacking for the past couple of seasons. Now is a deliberate staggering of their midfield to then control dangerous spaces between the lines, not allow the team to have easy progression, but now allow the team to play into a very pressable area to where they can win the ball back. So now when we see the ball go into the wide area, a cue for Manchester United to then press, and now they have cover in between the lines and their back four supporting the press. But we also have the advantageous situation, at least numerically, to have players in front of where the ball will be won to then go and transition and attack through, which will be very, very key if they want to keep winning matches, moving up the table, and finish higher in the Premier League. So that's where we're going to wrap up the analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.